Welcome to Swag Fails. Terrifying crashes and overload trucks overturn in every US state. It all comes from the terrible mistakes of bad drivers and are caught on camera. Let's explore and learn how to handle those situations to become a safe driver. Too careless in securing the cargo. Use straps, latches, or a secure cargo retention system to ensure that the cargo is securely secured in the trunk. Before starting your journey, check thoroughly and make sure your payload is within the allowable limits. Do not merge when you are driving at high speed. In addition to turn signals, you need to look through the rear view mirrors and make sure the traffic behind you is safe enough. Ignore the stop sign and receive immediate karma afterward. If he patiently waited for that car to pass, he might not have ended at the pole. There were 2 empty lanes, which could not be due to the driver falling asleep or not paying attention. Remember, when you're behind the wheel, pay special attention to the traffic ahead. Do not drive too fast. It'll be difficult to react in time when encountering an unexpected problem, especially in heavy traffic. Drivers are very wise and lucky to use extra lane. There is a high possibility that the car's brake have failed. If there is a problem with the braking system, apply engine braking by reducing the throttle and shifting down to a gear to reduce the vehicle speed. If the driver was just 1 second faster, that bad incident might have not happened. The signal that a train is approaching needs to be announced earlier so that the people can get off the tracks in time. The driver may have fallen asleep. He should concentrate on driving and maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front. What I'm mostly curious about is the quality of the truck. How did the front of the truck came off easily like that? It is not advisable to take risks overtaking on such a narrow road, especially with a mountain wall beside. I'd rather arrive late than taking unnecessary risks. A truck cannot stop as quickly as a car, so keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front to stop promptly when unexpected incident occurs. Do not drive too fast when entering a curve. It is easy to slip or lose control, especially when you're walking next to a large truck. Avoid using the brake suddenly on slippery snow roads. Instead, slow down and gently stop on the brake pedal. This helps reduce the risk of losing control. Never get distracted even for 1 second, especially when backing up. Always keep a safe distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front. This will provide enough time and space to respond to emergency situations. In particular, securely reinforce objects on the vehicle trunk when moving. Before entering a corner, reduce your speed to a safe level. Excess speed when cornering is the main cause of losing control and easily flipping the vehicle.
É assim que o caminhão tomba na serra. Olha só. Aí, ó, tombou. Tombou.
It is important to slow down when approaching a curve. High speed in a turn increases centrifugal force and risk of loss of control. When driving in strong wind conditions, slowing down helps reduce wind pressure on the vehicle and increases control. Or better yet, avoid going out when strong winds are forecast. Stop at a red light unless your vehicle cannot brake. Slow down when approaching intersections, or at least honk to let others know that you cannot stop instead of trying to avoid them, which can easily cause you to lose control of the steering wheel. Everyone survived. What a miracle! That's why it is important to check tire condition regularly. As soon as the tire begins to blow out, hold the steering wheel firmly to maintain control of the vehicle. The tram driver should have given way to the emergency vehicle. At that point, the tram is only going 20 kilometers per hour. It seemed like the truck was stuck, but luckily the driver got out in time. It would be a pity to see a truck destroyed. Before changing lanes, take a few seconds to observe the traffic behind you. Don't be so reckless. Limit the speed when carrying on overload cargo to reduce pressure on the front tires and maintain vehicle stability. Ensure that tire pressure is in accordance with regulations to avoid bulging tires and keep them operating efficiently. He didn't even know when his load had fallen. Before starting your journey, check and make sure that the load is tightly secured in the trunk. Regularly check to ensure that it does not move and remain stable. Before entering the corner, slow down and avoid sudden braking when cornering at high speed to avoid losing control. When near a railway, even there are no signals, stop and observe if a train is approaching. It appears the truck was stuck due to a mechanical problem, such as with the engine or driving system. Therefore, it is necessary to check and maintain the vehicle regularly. Just went to the next exit and turned around, but he didn't. Bad drivers usually never miss their exit. He forgot that his car was also quite large. When driving large trucks, do not ignore height warning signs when crossing bridges. It is not necessarily because the truck is too heavy, it is just that the land is quite soft and prone to subsidence. As a reminder of the consequences of driving distracted, once you're in the driver's seat, disregard any distracting or mentally exhausting factors. Focus 100% on the traffic ahead and around you. Suddenly, steering will cause the car to lose its center of gravity and easily flip sideways. That was a huge lesson for car drivers. Do not cause danger to others because of temporary anger. They were all going too fast for the narrow road, and trucks loaded with such goods took quite a while to stop. That's why it is important to keep a safe distance. A quick listen and centrifugal force and weight distribution. I've said it many times, but it seems there are still many people who are quite subjective. When you are driving a truck with a large load, stay away from rough roads. Just a small pothole can cause your car to lose balance and easily overturn. I'm surprised he didn't realize he forgot to close the truck's trunk lid when he looked in the rear view mirror. Even passerby didn't warn him. Do not drive when you're not alert enough. If you're sleepy, stop in a safe place and take a nap. When carrying bulky objects, honk continuously to warn surrounding traffic. And especially, slow down at every intersection. Speeding on the road will easily cause the vehicle to lose control or have its brakes locked. If the brakes fail suddenly, moving at a slower speed will reduce the damage. If the driver concentrated on driving, the driver could easily stop in time. Please, keep a safe distance when driving, especially with trucks, because sudden braking brings many dangerous risks. That's why I always try to stay as far away from trucks as possible. Do not overload and make sure the container is securely hooked to the truck before moving.
¡Te pongas debajo!
The recovery and rescue of overturned trucks seems to bring more damage in this case. Use a larger crane with a rollover bar before lifting a large truck. Was the truck driver at a fault when he crossed the tracks when the barrier was not down and the red light was not on? This signal should have been turned on sooner. I wonder why the other cars weren't affected by the wind. Most likely because the truck was too tall and the cargo box was empty. Bro, that's an exit, not an entrance. Anyway, fortunately, your reckless driving action did not cause any collision. It takes a lot of time and space for that 100 feet long truck to cross the tracks. Those in charge of the tracks should have signaled the train's arrival time earlier so that the driver could... That's why we should avoid stopping on the highway. The truck's driver didn't even slow down. Maybe he wasn't paying any attention. Be 100% focused when sitting in the driver's seat to promptly react when an incident occurs. Do not recklessly drive into a flooded area because you won't know what the terrain is like under the calm water. You will easily lose balance with that long and large body. Strong winds and gusts are common here. Luckily, he slowed down to minimize the possibility of the car overturning. But he still couldn't avoid control in the strong wind. The truck driver ignored the sign prohibiting trucks over 11 meters long from passing, and this was a lesson for him. Please, obey all direction signs on the road. Do not be subjective.
Fuck!
Slowing down before entering a curve reduces pressure on the vehicle's axle and reduces the risk of rolling over, especially if you are carrying a heavy load. Monitor weather forecasts to avoid traveling during storms or other bad weather conditions, or at least, once in that situation, make sure to stop the car and tighten your seatbelt. It is possible his rear wheel was bald, which was what caused the car to skid and flip. Avoid braking or making sudden movements while driving, as it can shift your center of gravity and increases the risk of skidding. If the driver of a car with a dash cam busy with his phone screen, the incident was completely avoidable. Is it possible that 5 seconds is not enough for one brake pedal?
Botando pro lado.
Olha. Bora ficar aqui mesmo, mano. Paradinha aqui esperando.
Subir não.
Mano, esse bicho é doido, esse motor, ó. Ai,
Ó, já era.
ai.
Olha, tijolo, o que eu falei?
You cannot go uphill with an overloaded vehicle, and the vehicle's brakes will not be able to handle such a heavy load. Make sure your truck doesn't exceed the allowable weight before moving. You need to know some basic rules when driving a dump truck or truck. First, firmly fix the object in the trunk of the vehicle. Second, avoid sudden braking. Do not forget you are towing a long container. When driving at a fast speed on a curve, even if it's just a slight curve, it's easy to lose balance and cause a rollover if you do not hold the steering wheel steady. Regularly check the condition of the wheel to make sure the screws are still tightened to avoid suddenly falling off on the road. Furthermore, keep yourself as far as possible from the truck. Lifting that big truck seemed to do more damage than when it flipped over. Use a large crane to lift it gently. Repair cost is about 6 figures, which is crazy. He ignored the bridge height warning sign. Perhaps he didn't even know the height of the truck he was driving. All warning signs have meanings, so do not ignore them. He crossed the stop sign and seemed unable to stop. The excessive speed caused it to tilt and slide. Regularly check your brakes, as they could be the cause of the vehicle speeding and being unable to stop. Maybe his front axle malfunctioned, causing him to go that way, or he didn't know that speed was too fast when entering the bend. Slow down on those bends. That speed was too fast when merging into the lane. Did he lose control or have problems with the brakes? At least he could have sounded the horn to warn those around him of danger. Luckily, do not drive too fast on slippery roads, because you could skip or flip over when braking suddenly in a sudden incident on the road. The three vans will twirl almost synchronized, like to participate in a choreography. How strong can the wind be? A truck overturned under the influence of the wind. If the truck has goods in the trunk, the situation could have been avoided. Do not try to get in front of the truck or turn in front of the truck. They may not brake or yield to you because you can easily fall into their blind spot. The downhill slide only ends when the truck overturns or collides with something. Remember, check your brakes before each trip and reduce speed when descending hills. Maybe today is his first day of work, so he's not used to controlling the trash can. Be slow, otherwise, the car can easily overturn. The reaction time would have been almost zilch, coming in from the other direction at the corner of the driver's eye, with all the blockage from the dividers and trees. The truck driver was charged with reckless driving. I think he had a long day of driving, and he was mentally tired. Do not drive when you're not alert and healthy. Stop in a safe place and take a little rest. It's possible he had a medical problem or lost concentration. Hopefully, he has learned his lesson today, and he will never drive at a fast speed again. The cause was the dump truck entered soft ground and the driver could not stand and watch helplessly. So refer to and learn about the terrain before each trip to be as safe as possible. Tires play an important role in keeping the vehicle stable, and tire pressure and condition should be checked regularly, and especially important. Always keep a safe distance from surrounding vehicles. From the beginning, it is not advisable to use a dump truck for transporting rocks. Lifting the container too high can easily disrupt the balance of the truck, leading to a risk of tipping over. I could see the driver's helplessness as he watched his truck drift. That's why you never stop your car on a steep road. Choose a flat road always. Because the remaining cargo in the truck is not evenly distributed, it is mainly concentrated very high in the front, leading to the situation. Always make sure the goods are evenly distributed throughout the vehicle. When driving a heavy vehicle, be cautious on dirt roads, especially those with muddy puddles. It is better to avoid such roads altogether for a smoother and safer journey. It is possible that the truck driver fell asleep at the wheel. Stay alert when driving, especially slow down on slippery, snow-covered roads. The crash was already unavoidable, but rolling over like this must have been caused by unbalanced load.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, he's right. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go.
As soon as the trailer begins to leave the ground, stop immediately. Do not fight the wind like that. It is useless. If I were the driver of that truck, instead of swerving, I could come to a stop as it would be safer. He didn't overturn thanks to his skills and a bit of luck. There are many signs at each end of the road prohibiting trucks, but some drivers never listen and stubbornly follow the GPS. This road also needs additional fencing, which looks quite dangerous. The driver was lucky to survive. Too risky and reckless. I will never sit in the driver's seat of such an overloaded truck. No one was injured. Instead of trying to drive an overloaded truck, we can divide the transport into 2 trips to ensure the best safety. There were no human injuries. It is a pretty slippery bend, so do not drive too fast when entering the bend and do not carry too much weight, as it can easily tip over. Luckily, the driver is fine. Even though he was warned and signaled, it seemed that the truck driver didn't understand. It wasn't until he hit the pole that he realized. Make sure to close the trunk before starting to move. Before turning around, look around and use your rear view mirror to make sure you won't hit anything. Make sure not to exceed the allowable load of the truck. Distribute the weight evenly. Avoid being too heavy on the rear of the car, causing the front of the car to leave the ground. It seems like he ignored the height warning sign at the door, but it was silly for them to stubbornly rush over, even though they know the height was too high, and the end result is a lesson for them. It seemed like they were all ambulance sirens, so they didn't recognize the other person's direction. When you are driving an ambulance, be careful at intersections, even if the signal siren is turned on. Do not wait until you need to use the brakes to find out it's not working. Check it before every trip. In particular, observe and reduce the speed at each intersection to promptly handle unexpected situations. At least the van got out of there. It just needed a lot of repairs. Next time, pay attention to the bridge height warning sign before deciding to throw. He forgot that he was carrying a crane behind him, even though the surrounding drivers warned him with horns. He didn't seem to mind. The driver is absolutely fine. The guy driving the cement truck seemed distracted for a few seconds, because if he had concentrated, he would have slowed down and stopped in time. Sudden changes in directions can easily cause the vehicle to overturn, especially a large vehicle with heavy weight. About 10,000 kilograms of slaughterhouse waste disappeared. Do not carry too much weight. It can easily fly out when braking suddenly. In particular, keep a safe distance to have enough time to react to traffic conditions. The truck that was turning left was supposed to go through the outside of the curve, while the truck turning right needs to temporarily occupy the entire lane to get enough space to pass the trailer on the inside of the curve. Do not save shipping time by overloading. That only increases the risk of problems and delays your journey. Driving a large truck can easily cause loss of steering control if speed is not maintained, especially on slippery roads. Stay calm and aim the steering wheel to an area with not many vehicles to end. Do not ignore the sign about the height of the bridge. Do not forget you're driving a large truck. If possible, steer your vehicle toward dirt or grass to slow down and increase friction. At least he sounded the horn to warn those around him. Obviously, the weight of a trailer is much heavier than a truck. Physics is an important subject. Use a bigger truck to lift that trailer. Ensure you lift objects decisively and observe carefully to avoid getting caught on the barriers on the dump truck.
Storybox Audio.
Even if you lose control or the brakes fail, stay calm and choose a safe endpoint. Gas stations are not ideal destinations in such situations. Whether there is a signal or not, do not forget to look both ways to see if a train is coming before deciding to cross the tracks. If the driver with a dash cam had reduced speed and applied brakes upon seeing that truck, the incident could have been avoided completely. The driver seemed to have no intention of stopping, but he was lucky to regain his balance. In such cases, it is better to stop to ensure safety first. Could it be that neither the bus nor the pickup truck heard the sound of the ambulance? Visibility may be obscured, but only the radio can be turned on at maximum level to prevent it from being heard. But the ambulance should have stopped at the red light when the traffic was so heavy. Looks like the weight of the truck locked up his brakes. He tried his best. At least he survived. Bearing brake problems come to a complete stop before the track when the signal comes on. Raise your awareness, slow down and look left and right when approaching a crossroad, especially when there are no traffic signals. It is risky to drive an overloaded truck across an old bridge that doesn't look sturdy at all. There should have been a wait warning sign at the bridge ahead, or he would have ignored it. Do not go too fast when entering a bend. It is easy to lose balance when carrying heavy weight and cause the car to flip uncontrollably. As soon as you notice the wheels leaving the ground, stop and tighten your seatbelt. Slow down on windy days, and better yet, avoid going out in these days.
NCBUT and all the clubs are forced by SK almost viewing the first time in the sevens competition, Villager.
When entering the curve, the container truck's trunk tilted to the left by inertia. Luckily, it didn't flip, That is the experience for car drivers. Absolutely shouldn't drive parallel or enter the blind spot of the truck.
É assim que o caminhão tomba na serra. Olha, tombou. Tombou. Entendeu?
If you have been a truck driver for many years, you will know that you cannot go too fast when entering a bend, because the vehicle can easily lose balance and lead to overturning, especially when the truck bed is too heavy. You should have stopped the concrete mixer as soon as the vehicle tilted. Continuing to operate will cause the vehicle to vibrate and overturn more quickly.
Redes sociais, @maravilhosa_fashion, na rua Perfeito 275, sala 45, ao lado das lojas.
High loads have their challenges. Always comply with the vehicle's weight and make sure to slow down when cornering. When you see an overloaded vehicle tilting, honk to warn them.
Redes sociais, @maravilhosa_fashion, na rua Perfeito 275, sala 45, ao lado das lojas Hard. WhatsApp.
Not a sudden loss of control. The driver is believed to have fallen asleep and tested positive for methamphetamine in a urine test. If not mentally alert, please refrain from driving. Do not worry, it is just an experiment with a self-driving truck. Indeed, this prevention method is quite effective in stopping those who want to flee. But if running at high speeds, it could potentially lead to the truck tipping over. There is a need to increase penalties for drunk drivers to ensure minimum safety for everyone. However, at least he rushed into the railway after the train had passed, which is also fortunate. Avoid braking the truck suddenly, especially on slippery roads. Sudden braking can cause loss of tire grip and lead to skids, so do not drive too fast or follow too closely to someone in front.
%80 of the time, the driver was probably falling asleep because he kept drifting into the wrong lane. Fortunately, there were no collisions, and the driver regained alertness after the incident. Could someone think he's a thief? He didn't even know he was towing a car. I honked to signal, but it seemed futile. Driving larger trucks demands top-notch driving skills, especially on narrow and winding roads like this. According to reports from the people around, the driver wasn't severely injured.
Coming. There is a train coming. There's a train coming.
Continuing with an obstinate driver crossing the railroad barrier. Anyway, he is very lucky to be safe along. There are strong measures in place to prevent other vehicles from entering the railway when a train is approaching. Do you see that the speed is too fast for a narrow and obscure road like this? Furthermore, a little reminder for drivers: always maintain a safe distance from the vehicles in front if you want time to react in adverse situations. You are witnessing an impressive and challenging scene. A heavy-duty truck is struggling to climb a steep slope with the help of two powerful towing vehicles. Next time, consider the weight and thoroughly research the route. Because for sure, without assistance, it can't make it on its own. Do you want a free car wash? If the answer is yes, please queue up. The truck driver might not have realized that the trunk was still open until that sound echoed. A valuable lesson learned. Is he worthy of a driver's license? Luckily, he was still alive to receive this valuable lesson. He needed to have his driver's license revoked for 15 months. Please stay awake while driving to ensure safety for yourself and those around you. It is known that someone called 911 and the truck driver has also been taken for a checkup even though he didn't lose consciousness. No barriers or operators at the time the train was about to pass. All I can say is that the truck driver was really lucky when the rear part of the truck was completely detached. That was a curve, and you need to slow down on that road. Whether it was luck or your driving skill is good, one of them has saved you. Next time, pay more attention because luck doesn't always come to your rescue. Even though it's a blind spot that made a truck driver unable to see the small car, couldn't he stay in the lane he was already in? The road is quite wide. Why switch lanes unnecessarily? That's why I always try to drive ahead or behind large trucks rather than next to them. It's fortunate they were only lightly injured, not life-threatening, thanks to seatbelts and airbags. Right after he passed that car, the driver suddenly lost control of the steering wheel, causing the car to swerve. Thanks to years of driving experience, luckily he regained control and saved the car from flipping. Did the truck driver even realize that he and the truck were almost about to plunge into the river? Shortly, when starting to make the turn, the truck driver saw that red car, but he was overly confident in his judgment of distance. As a result, he'll need to compensate for the damage to the red car. But anyway, as long as everyone is okay, financial matters are just a minor issue. The path was blocked thanks to the inexperienced driver. Theory and practice are very different. You need to practice more. This can be considered a daily problem for long trucks. Do you have any ideas to fix it? Besides scaring everything on the truck, I haven't thought of any other solution.
Hello, welcome to Swag Fails Supercar Fails channel. Swag Fails Supercar Fails is a channel that brings you traffic failure situations on the road, racetrack, and anywhere. If you're a big fan of Supercar Fails, crash car compilation, and incredible traffic situation caught on dashcam, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. wish you have relaxing moments on the channel Swag Fails, Supercar Fails. Goodbye and see you in our latest video.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon. It can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning.